Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United of the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United from the National League are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast. I'm your host Mike. In association with Lucky Star Gin, we're bringing you the post-Hartlepool game. New platform. We're only with Jack at the moment, which may or may not be related to why Rory's not on yet, but we don't know. But Rory may pop on at any point. But we're going to, as I say, talk about Hartlepool, and we're going to look forward to the FA Cup match. Obviously, the engagement is important. We like hearing from you, likes the shares, the comments, all the rest of it. You know that, and thank you to everyone who regularly does that. We're going to jump in and get this over with because I've held him on hostage for a bit long already. But Jack, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
You exist. That's fine.
Could be worse. No, it could be worse. I was on a bus for 7.5 hours yesterday.
Yeah.
Same as some other brilliant people. So it was, I'm very, very, well, not happy, but you know what I mean.
You're tired.
In as good a mood as I can be.
Exactly. It's your first match day pod. Obviously, we had you on previously, so you're going to difficult position on this one. We'll give it a try, but you're going to have your match day Sutton fan head on, and also you've got your official head on as well. So if I stray you down
50-50, I need to watch what I say.
Yeah, if I stray you down anywhere, we can always reverse.
That's fine.
It's unlikely. Let's be fair. I'm positive, Mike.
We'll see.
So this is going to be a very difficult question for you, because obviously you've joined Sutton fairly recently, but you have chosen a player, and then we're just going to do the knowing me, knowing you section. So give me 1 second. I'll play the jingle, hopefully.
Yeah. Oh, I can hear that. Yeah.
As everyone knows, I have way too much time on my hands. So the question that you were set very late in the week was, who is your favourite ever Sutton player? Obviously, you've got a fairly limited pool to call upon, but you do know a lot of Sutton players, and you've had to deal with some of the history and hear us talking about them. So who is your favourite ever Sutton player?
It's difficult. I actually weirdly have a couple.
Okay.
So, obviously a big fan of Simper, because Simper is an unbelievable footballer and probably should not be at this level. Very big fan of Harry Ransom. I think Harry Ransom is just brilliant as a person. I think he's brilliant. So they would probably be my top two, but I'm not going to lie, every single one of the lads that we have signed are great human beings. They are great lads, and I think that's, it sounds like I'm being bad. This already sounds like I'm being biased. We have signed a lot of guys who get on very well and are also lovely human beings. Overall, those two on the pitch, Lewis, Harry's brilliant, but they're all great. Siju's great, Edwino's great. They're all great boys.
You were saying a different name beforehand as we were chit-chatting, but I'm going to put you on the spot and say it. Come on.
Roy Keane. Roy Keane or Paul Scholes. I'm so sorry. I've let you down. I'm so sorry.
You've been outed. There you go.
It happens. I can't believe. I'm so sorry. I'm Irish. I didn't mean to do it. I won't do it again.
No worries. So the news, I didn't really do an awful lot because I've been trying to work all these different things out today. So I'm really rubbish. But obviously, do the official site for proper news. But the ladies' side drew 2-2 today. They came back from 2-0. Yeah, team couldn't hold a 2-0 lead, eh? Anyway, special congrats to Sophie, who made her 50th appearance today. So well done, Soph. And yeah, keep ticking away, ladies. It's doing all right. You may have noticed another new platform keeps life exciting for me. Don't really know what I'm doing on it, but never mind. But we're going to jump into the game quickly. How were you feeling ahead of the match? I mean, you've got a little bit, not huge amount, but you've got a little bit more insight than a lot of us because you do get to kind of see what's going on in various places. But we were in good form.
Yeah.
Hartlepool weren't in good form, and we've done particularly well away. So ahead of the game, what were your kind of hopes and expectations?
Oh, here we go.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Jack.
It's all right. You can answer the question, and we'll jump on to Rory. Don't worry. I'm not going to cut you off.
So I was on the bus up on the way on Friday. Same as Saturday. Like I was there the whole time with the players, with everything, and very calm and confident.
Mm-hmm.
That was the feeling the whole way through. I think that was the same sentiment the whole way through. Like even not the whole way through the match, but to a certain extent of the match. Whenever I was there, they were incredibly loud. They were incredibly outspoken, and to be fair to the Hartlepool fans, they were brilliant. Like we were 2-0 up, and they were booing Darren Saul, and they were calling for his head. But whenever they brought on 2 or 3 different substitutions, they went mental. Like they went crazy. They were cheering. Like I have never heard somebody cheer so much for a substitution ever. Not in any football match. They were going for it. So it's a difficult one. We went up and we were in 4 games unbeaten. We were ready to go again. We had gone through all the data. We'd gone through all the video. Everything was done. And you could see it. Up until halftime, we were completely in control. And the substitutions
We'll come on to the match in a sec. It was just before how you were confident going into it.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Confident going into it.
That's all right.
Skipping ahead. I'm so sorry.
Rory, I'm going to get you up to speed. Nice to see you again.
And sorry for being fashionably late.
That's all right. We're looking for you. I'm not going to play the jingle again, but it did work. Who is your favourite Sutton player of all time? Now, you've got a slightly larger pool to consider, and Jack did cheat and put 2. But who is your favourite player of Sutton all time?
If he doesn't choose Mickey Joyce, he's wrong.
I think Mickey was before.
Yeah, he would have been on my long list, along with Eastie, Dominic Feltenham. I think Barry Laker, because I had a bit of a thing for defenders. Barry Laker, Mark Costello. I was a huge Mark Costello fan back in the day.
No, Jimmy Dack.
Jimmy Dack. Yeah, Jimmy Dack.
Yeah, we got there eventually.
Danny.
Yeah, Jimmy Dack. Yeah, Mark Watson, centre midfield. I was a big fan of. I think it's got to be Nassim McCrur for me. It was kind of when I was 17, 18 when we won the league. He used to go home and away. He scored that hat-trick against Aylesbury. I scored those couple of goals against Aylesbury. And yeah, he was my favourite player. So yeah, it'll be him for me. Who was yours, Jack and Mike? Then did you answer that, Mike?
I didn't answer that. I dodged it. Jack went for Simper and Harry Ransom from the current crop, because obviously he's got slightly less pull. He did tell me before.
Mickey Joyce.
And he did tell me beforehand about Mickey Joyce, because we've all none of us saw them live, but we could all probably describe every goal from Mickey Joyce because we've all heard them from Mickey.
Everybody's heard about them from somewhere. They were all absolutely stunners.
Absolutely, 95 yards. I heard one of them. But yeah, it's a difficult question, and it's no surprise that your player is from the era when you kind of first was sitting there going to the home and away games, because I think everyone ends up with that little bit of, well, some of these players are great, but actually I like this player. There's a guy at work. His favourite player is Will Puddy, the goalkeeper we had on loan for a couple of weeks. He was like, he was just great. And I was like, we didn't have him long. How can he be your favourite? Oh, well, no, I think we had him about half a season. But I was just going. I was asking Jack about what was the expectations before the game. So obviously, good form, and they weren't in great form. What were you feeling before the match? Were you we should be beating the teams the likes of?
Yeah, I was really confident. I think I've been to every, obviously because I live in the northeast now. I've been to every Hartlepool Sutton match for the past however many times they've played, 6 or 7 years. Never lost there. And then we went with some Hartlepool fans who were, as you said, Jack, were moaning about the manager beforehand, saying in a way they hoped they'd lose yesterday to get rid of Mr. Searle. So I was really confident. I was thinking, given, like you say, 4 on the bounce, they're not playing very well. I thought we had it in the bag, really. And not to jump too far ahead, but to start kind of suggested that as well. But yeah, I was really confident. Line-up looked good as well.
Yeah. Well, we'll jump into that start. I mean, there was a slight thing with the lineup with Harry taking injury on Friday night, which obviously Steve mentioned, but keeps his cards close to his chest on there. But what were your? I mean, was it 10 minutes? And Jayden scores. Jayden, the machine, scores, and then was it 25-ish? We're 2-0 up, and playing absolutely brilliantly. At that point, must have decided, we'll go home now, will we?
Yeah, it was such a good start. Really well. We played such good football that first 25. We should have scored 3 or 4, I think, as Steve said. I think we should have scored 3 or 4 in that first 25 minutes. We're all over them. Crowd was getting on their backs. I thought, such a strong start. And Jayden was immense, I thought, the first 10, 15 minutes. So was Josh as well. I think Josh was causing them a lot of trouble. Baz on the other side. Yeah, it was a great start. Couldn't ask for a better start. But then I was sitting next to Andy. I mean, Andy looked at each other and thought, this isn't going to last, is it? He just had that feeling that when we didn't score that third.
Where's the confidence?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's too many times going 2-0 up. And
we were 4-0 up against the Watson names at the start of the season, and I'm sitting there going, still not comfortable here. But I mean, this kind of jumps onto a later. I mean, sorry, Jack. How were you feeling in that sort of first half hour or so? Were you like literally racking it up, going, "How many are we going to get
here?" So on Saturday, yesterday feels like a couple of days ago now. I was doing the footage, literally filming for the analysis stuff. And I was turning round to their 3 analysts, and I was being a little bit too big for my boots. Not badly, but like I was like celebrating. You know what I mean? Like we were scoring, like not whenever you're normal analysts or whenever you're me in the press box. Whatever happens, you don't jump up and you don't go for it. And I had jumped up several times and I had gone for it. The first half was great. We shouldn't have been 2-0 up. We should have been 2 or 3 or 4-0 up, 5, if even. I was happy. I wasn't delighted because I knew what we could have got, but I was happy.
Well, this is something that Steve said, and a couple other people have said this. So, because you guys have both basically brought it up, this idea of putting the game to bed, and we should have put the game to bed. We should have blah blah blah. It's a tricky one. We should have held on to a 2-0 lead, but to put the game to bed means you've got to go for it. Because 2-0 is always going to be 2-0, and they always say it's a tricky scoreline. But if you go for it, you are going to leave yourself open no matter what you do. It's either you go with the Mourinho style and just go, that's it, game's over, or you keep going for it. Hindsight is a wonderful, wonderful thing, but should we have kept going for it, or should we have just gone, that's it, we're done, we're finished here, we've got 2-0 away from home, you're not getting another shot?
I think personally we should have gone for it. I think knowing that the second half they'd be kicking towards their home crowds. There's a bit of a kind of slope there, sort of in the first half, where we had that slight advantage of the slope towards our goal. So yeah, I think we should have pushed on. But then I think, to be fair, I think we did. I think we created lots of chances. There was that one Will Davis almost scored, almost squeezed it in the far post. I think on another day that's gone in, that's 3-0, and then the game is pretty much to bed. So I think we did keep pressing. It was just after half time, it just seemed to all fall apart. I think first half we were, like you said, Jack, I thought we were great. I thought we played some great football, pressed really high. I thought we were fab. We were really, really good.
But that's what I mean, is everyone says now, with what happened, we should have, that's it, shouldn't have done this, shouldn't have done that, because we lost the game. Had we won it 2-0, I don't think anyone would be sitting there going, oh, well, we should have got 3 or 4. It would have been a professional job. But I mean, I don't know what my answer actually is, because of course I'd like us to keep going for it. I like the football we're playing. I like exciting football. But Jack, what do you feel on that? I mean, you're a closet Man United fan, obviously.
Do you know what?
Of that
I'm
era.
not even. I'm not. I just love Roy Keane. I'm a QPR fan.
Okay, fair enough. Sorry.
Yeah. My favourite player is Adult Rat, by the way. Actually, it's not even. It's Sean Derry, which is ridiculous. I love Sean Derry. What a man.
What do you? What's your philosophy? Would you say no? Let's keep going. Let's get 3, 4, 5, or would you be like, you know what? Shut up shop, professional job. Let's get out of here.
See, this is a difficult question because you know what I'm like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna. I would go for it.
Yeah,
I would genuinely, as just me. Nothing to do with the team. Nothing to do with Steve, whoever else. In my head, I am not. I don't know what the best way to put this is. I'm not going to be scared of anything. I could say something else which came to my head, but I'm not going to say that. I am not going to be scared. I would bloody go for it. I do not, and I think from watching whatever we're doing, off the pitch, on the pitch, the fact that I have so much insight is brilliant. But like all of it, the thing that Steve is instilling in them, and it's going to take a while because all these lads are under the age of 25, 24. It's going to take a while, but it is turning them into killers. And it is saying, like, I don't care. I am going to kill you. And that's what I like. And that's why, like, growing up, whenever I watched United, that was always the very Ferguson thing. And I think we're going to get to that. And that's what we tried to do yesterday. And we will get to that at some point. It's just, like, we all know you'd be silly if you don't know what we've done in the summer and who we've got and what we've done. Mm-hmm. You'd be silly to think that that's what's going to happen straight off the bat.
Totally agree. Yeah, I think there's no reason to be despondent or down after yesterday because I thought we played such good football, particularly first half. I think it was just a bit of naivety, maybe, given the youth of the team. I think that was all it was.
Hindsight is beautiful. Yeah. Right. You could go, oh no, we should have shut up shop. But with everything you guys said, who was at the game, their fans are getting on their back. We're playing absolutely brilliantly and going for it. Why would we stop? Why?
Of course.
No.
We're sitting there at 2-0 at halftime thinking that we should have been 4 or 5 up. And anybody who's in the away end, like, realistically, you've travelled up to near Newcastle. You want to see 5 or 6 goals. You don't want to just sit there and it's 2-0 up. Like, honestly, like, that was me sitting filming up in the gantry. Like, you want to blow them out of the water. And we were incredibly close to doing that. We honestly, and Steve would say this as well, we should have gone in at half time 4 or 5-0.
Yeah.
We should have. That's very normal.
Yeah. No, I agree. It is one of those things it's really easy to look at, and I know we're all going to agree on the same things. I'm not going to keep going on about it, but it's easy to sort of react to the result rather than how we're playing. I mean, Rory, yes, you're same as support whoever's in the chair, and gave your support to Matt, but the style of football is vastly different.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. It's quite noticeable, isn't it? It really, like playing out from the back, and it was not what I'm used to after the last few years.
Trusting each other with the ball.
Yeah.
But so they did make their substitutions. I think it was 4 at half time, which is obviously a bit of a telling off for the team. Were you surprised at how many substitutions, or were you kind of like, oh, to be fair, he's got to do something?
Yeah, I think given the precarious nature of the manager's position, I think he had to do something. I think I might have made this up, but I think even he made a change, did he, after about half an hour? I think one of them came off.
Oh, right, okay.
I think after we scored the 2, I'm sure a few minutes later he took off someone and then made a triple change at half time. So it was proper, going for it. So it didn't really surprise me that they were going to.
No, it had fairly quick response, and what was it? 10 minutes and 12 minutes in or something. How were you after the first goal? Could you see it coming? Were you fearing the worst?
I don't know what Jack thinks, but I was definitely fearing the worst. I think because it was quite close after half time, you just got the feeling that when that first one went in, their tails were really up. They seemed a lot more up for it. I think we looked a bit shell-shocked, I guess, after what a great first half we had. Maybe we just weren't expecting that kind of response and that kind of reaction from Hartlepool. And then when it came, we looked a bit, rabbits in the headlight. Defending is how I think I describe it. Throughout most of the second half, really. Did feel a bit, every time they got the ball, it looked like they were going to go straight through us.
So, Jack, not wanting to blame you, but you were celebrating the
I will take all of the blame,
and
all of the blame is on me.
And how were their analysts looking at you at 2-2, and how were you feeling at 2-2?
See, I'm trying now not to say that. No, hold on. With the camera, I believe you can see when the switch was, and I don't think it was straight after halftime. I think whenever the corner flag snapped, that's when it changed.
Right.
And to me, it was very obvious, and I was right above the Hartlepool fans as well, and they were all confused why we'd thrown a football on, and all our lads were passing around, and they were all screaming, "Past us, past us." That's when I saw the momentum change genuinely. That's from somebody who's behind the camera. That's when I saw all of a sudden we didn't seem sluggish. I still think we were okay. It's just it changed. That's when the momentum changed.
So we concede another. We're 3-2 down. How were you thinking when your man Lewis brought us back to 3-3 late on, Jack? We're off the hook here, or we're going to go for it and get another one?
So whenever Lewis scored, I screamed so loudly that I had a whole home end turn around and look at me and give me incredibly dirty looks. I was incredibly loud to the point where I definitely should not have been. They were a little bit annoyed. I was about to get into a fight with a lot of people from Tyneside. Newcastle, wherever, Hartlepool. I don't even know where we were at that stage. I was a deer in the headlights. I had my fists up. I was ready to go. Yeah, it's one of the things where it's a positive. Lewis is bloody brilliant. Holy goodness. Lewis Simper is a bloody brilliant footballer.
He is.
Like, that is a great goal. That was, I think, if you look at a number of football teams, not just National League, wherever the hell you are, Chelsea at the minute with Cole Palmer, you have one guy who can do it himself. Lewis showed that he is our man who can do things by himself if things are done. That's what I liked. I liked that we have, like, it's not just him as well. Like, we have Jayden who can run the pitch by himself. Like, we now have lads, even Matters. Like, we have lads, Will Davis, we have lads who genuinely can do it by themselves if we are down. And that's why I liked about that.
And what about yourself, Rory? How are you at the 3-3? I know it was only fleeting and brief, but how were you sort of at that point? Were you thinking again, right, that's it now? We got ourselves out of it. Let's just chill. Or were you thinking, no, it's come back to us now?
Yeah, good point. I think similar to Jack, I definitely went for it when we scored. I think I wasn't quite expecting it because I think Lewis had a similar shot a couple of minutes before, which just narrowly missed. And I thought, oh, maybe that's our chance. But the goal was, and I've watched it back this morning, the goal was something else. The way it curled into the bottom corner was
Curved it straight around.
Oh, it's just a thing of beauty. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? I thought the momentum might shift back for us. I thought we might then push on. Mm-hmm. And maybe we did. It was a bit hard to tell. Maybe we did push up a bit much.
I think it was very 50-50, wasn't it? Like, as much as they scored, we still tried to push it up. Like, it was weird. It was odd to deal with.
Yeah, there was a lot going on, wasn't it? It was a really good match, to be fair. I mean, it was really, I took my boy and, really, it was a really enjoyable match.
One for the neutrals.
Well, yeah, exactly. Whenever I tell my mum about football match, lots of goals, must have been good. But
bloody neutrals.
I hate the neutrals. It should have been one for Sutton. It was one for Sutton.
We conceded again, and I mean, I've been saying the last few weeks, some of the games where, like, for example, we let a 2-goal lead slip against Ebbsfleet, we won, and we had to blind out some results. Like, this is, as we said already, this is a young team, a learning team.
Yeah.
Some of these things they need to go through. You can't go through every single game winning, because if you went for every single game winning, you're never ever going to learn anything. So yes, whilst it's disappointing, and yes, I'm in a different position where I didn't traipse all the way up there and spend all my time and money going up there and back again. But
disappointing.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
Really disappointing. You're not a real fan.
I know. I never pretended to be.
You're not Jack. Jack Daly's there every week.
I never ever pretend to be. This is the thing. I don't pretend.
I know. I'm only joking. I'm only joking.
Next week, and everyone was like,
"I'm only joking."
Really? I was like, "It's within the."
To be fair, I think they expect you to be there for absolutely everything. I think they expect you not just for the matches, but like to see the whole thing.
Nah, more than 90 minutes, I'm out of it. But is it? Right, so again, lots of comments. Social media is nice and easy to just chuck things out there. It's really, really simple. But is it a concern? I mean, is this a fact that we made the same mistake a few times? Yes, we should have learnt of it. And Steve said these are harsh lessons that we need to learn. It's not a case of we're going to go, we got away with that. It's harsh. We're going to have to learn from it and learn quickly. But is it a major concern, or is it something that the coaching staff are now going to just get to work on and have to iron out those mistakes? Jack, I'll leave you form your opinion for a second. Rory, I'll start with you on that. What do you think is a concern or not?
No, I don't actually. I don't. I think just such a young team. I think it is just a big learning curve, isn't it? I think maybe we were a bit bullied yesterday by when they brought those players on, like the kind of physicality. I thought Charlie struggled a little bit, particularly kind of left back second half. I thought the new bloke that came on, Alex, was really good. Actually, Kirk, yeah, he looked good on the ball. Good kind of going, taking out. Yeah, I thought he looked really good. But I don't think it's a concern. I think it's just a young team knitting together, lots of new players, still bringing in new players. It's going to take a bit of time to gel. But I think the foundations are there in terms of the quality of football that we're playing. The resilience as well, to go from 2-0 down to then 2-0 up, to then 3-2 down and still bring it back and then still have that chance right at the end that was cleared off the line, I think.
Yeah, totally.
Shows that really good resilience. Yeah. So, I don't think it's anything to worry about.
All right, so Jack, did you want to answer or do you want to dodge that one? You're free to dodge it, mate.
Oh, no. I'll talk. I'm quite good at talking sometimes, mate. I think there were a lot of positives, which this sounds stupid, and a lot of people are going to bloody hate me for saying it, and they're going to think I'm very one-sided. But like you can see, I asked exactly the same things from Steve's interview afterwards, and a lot of people have seen this. We scored 3 goals away from home, which honestly, as much as we let in 4, is a good thing. That overall is a good thing. If we keep doing that, that's 3 points wherever we go. Alex Kirk came on, and I'm not going to lie, looked bloody fantastic. Like, he looked like the ball-playing centre-back that we wanted. He's also 21 years of age. He looked incredibly good.
And he's ours, isn't he?
Yes, He's full-time from Arsenal. He's done. Yeah. He's ours. And Dylan was back, who in pre-season and at Tamworth was our best player. Like he was. That's not even me saying that from a club point of view. He looked great over pre-season and against Tamworth. If it wasn't for him getting injured against Tamworth, we probably would have won. I genuinely believe that he looked that good against Tamworth. I hate to say it, because if I was the fan of a football club, if this was a QPR podcast, I'd probably still say, who cares? But genuinely, we have a team of 18 or 19 blokes, the majority who are under the age of 24, and they are learning, and they're also looking great in certain matches. So at some stage, whether I think it's going to be this season, but it might be next season, whenever they click, we are going. We are like a rocket ship. We are going.
I've been saying, if we are thereabouts around Christmas time, it will get the Sean Miles relentless going on, and it will just go on and steamroller.
I don't think. I have a feeling with this season, I don't think that's it.
I'm not going to let you change your mind until well after Christmas.
No. That's I love your optimism. I love it, but I don't think. And that's not me saying, oh, next season we're going to win the league or we're going to bomb up next season. Like I think there's going to come a point. It could be November. It could be December. It could be January. It could be February. I do not know when it is, but after watching these lads consistently in training, in matches, in any of it, there's going to come a point where it clicks and they're going to turn into killers. And we are going to bomb.
Yeah.
Like, we are going to go for it. And I think that's where the positive is. Like, as much as we've just gone down the league and you're like, I'd love to go straight back up league, that still is a thing, but there's going to come a point where we just bloody go for it.
Yeah.
And that's what I can't wait for. I can't wait for all the people who have been shouting at Steve, and I'm like, you are wrong. I can't wait for all the people who have been shouting at the players. You are wrong.
Yeah.
We are going to go for it.
Rory, we were saying earlier, I mean, I think I said tail end of last season, beginning of this season, just want the fun. I just want to go to games and have. That was good. So are you feeling that's there? I think I might have already asked you something similar, but are you feeling that's there at the moment? And how do you feel? Do you think they're going to click sooner than Jack says, or is it going to be next season?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Mike. I think it certainly yesterday felt fun. I mean, much as like you say, I was a huge fan of Matt Gray. I loved Matt Gray, but the quality of football wasn't the most exciting to watch, and it was probably very predictable. Whereas Steve's a lot more flexible, a lot more. He'll change stuff. He'll mix things up, which I really like. I like that kind of response to how games are going. I think Jack's put it really well in terms of that young, hungry, really good quality on the ball as well. All the players we've got. I think people like Vaz down the left. I thought he was really good yesterday as well. Just that technique to whip crosses in from the left hand side. I thought, I think we've got so much positives in the team. We've got so much pace, athleticism. I think really encouraging. I think, I think we'll be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. I think we've got a real chance.
What you've said kind of is the question I was aiming towards. So after the game yesterday, obviously lots and lots of comments of sort that defence out, absolutely defence threw away, lost it to us, blah, blah, blah. But no one is saying where, when, how, who. So they're just saying sort the defence out, but then you kind of sit there and go, okay, well, what about this player? Oh, no, he's good. What about this player? No, he's good. What about this one?
Sorry, that was on my side. I'm trying to plug the charger in.
Okay. But then earlier in the week, as I'm sure Jack will confirm, we signed a defender, and all the comments were, why on earth have we signed another centre-back? What do we need a centre-back for? So like, sort of defence out, but we don't sign any defenders. So are they happy with the defence or what? I mean, none of us are, well, I don't know about Jack's qualifications, but I know Rory and I aren't qualified coaches. But what can you do? I mean,
I'm a qualified coach, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks very much.
Okay. How can you sort out the defence?
I'd like to know from you lads first, actually.
I just get us out of this. We can't.
That sounds stupid. I actually do have a couple of my badges, but I would actually rather hear from you lads.
Honestly, not a clue. The outside of doing the old George Graham tying a rope around everyone, but we're not. It's not the offside. It's just you've got to have one thing without the other. I know Steve and Josh corrected me, but I know Steve said we're going to concede goals and he doesn't mind so much. I think he definitely is a fan of Ozzy Ardiles and saying, right,
he doesn't mind if we score goals.
Yeah, we'll score 5, you score 3. But again, there's no kind of suggestion of what needs to be sorted out. I mean, do you have an answer? Does anyone have any suggestions or thoughts on what could happen? Because I don't know. I'm not even. I pay to watch football, so I'm not even going to pretend that I've got an opinion on it. Rory?
Thanks, Mike.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to be me. As much as I have a little bit to say about it.
Yeah, you definitely have more than me, I think, Jack. I guess I haven't seen that many games this season, I should say. I suppose yesterday's second half, it felt like we were a bit bullied, like I say. I think and I think that will come, that getting used to National League strikers and the kind of physicalness of them. And I know, Hartlepool they've got quite a few older ex-pro players that, are a bit more physical. So I think maybe it's just working on that side of the game. Maybe that's the first thing. Maybe the second thing as well. Sounds really harsh because I love Steve Arnold. I think he's a great shot stopper. I do worry about his distribution, which then puts the defence under a bit of pressure. There was a couple of times yesterday where he booted out of play where he could have. We tried to play it to whoever was right back second half. There was a couple of those where I think if we had a goalkeeper that could play out a bit more from the back, maybe that wouldn't put as much pressure on us. But maybe that's really harsh. But there'll be those two things, I'd say.
I as with the magical 30 goal a season striker, if we had a goalkeeper who was a good shot stopper and could play it out from the back, they wouldn't be with us for very long.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it would be quite simple. But you mentioned the defenders needing a bit of help with learning how to deal with physical strikers. You'd say that they've got someone fairly decent to teach them how to deal with physical strikers, since Steve was not exactly a shrinking violet. But Jack, did you want to jump in, or do you want to just move on to the next bit?
I'll talk about anything.
Go on. What were your opinion on the defence being? Is it something that needs sorting? Is it something that's going to be sorted?
I think, and this sounds biased, which you're going to hate, on paper, we have one of the best defences in the league. And to be fair, actually, Rory would probably agree with me on that. On paper, we have a young, quick, strong defence. I think it's going to take time. That's all.
Mhm.
Like, genuinely, that is all. We have some top quality everything, not just right backs, centre backs, left backs. We have top quality everything. And when it gets to a stage in the season where whoever, bloody Yeovil, Forest Green, any of them, somebody gets injured, we have everything. Like, whenever we get used to playing the way that we can, because that is the major thing here. Like, we're at the start of October and we have 19. It's now 19 new players. Whenever we get used to that, we are going to bloody go for it. Whenever we get used to not just a new player coming in, but the way we set up our backline, the way, whatever the hell we do, we are going to be bloody brilliant.
Excellent.
That's personally my view.
Brilliant.
Which sounds a bit one-sided, but that is my view as a football fan, not as a not as a Sutton United employee. That is my view as a football fan.
Yeah. We're always positive. I get shouted at for being positive. Rory, what were you going to say before we move on to the good, the bad, and the funny?
No, I was just going to say, I think it's a great point that Jack makes about strength in depth. I think that's not something that we've had, certainly in the Matt Gray era, you could argue. Just having that sheer amount of quality players on the bench, people like Matt Rush and stuff that haven't, played very much, but quality players. And the sheer amount of defence. I think Chin was really good yesterday, certainly second half, and he seems to have been, really good over the past month.
He's a great player.
Strength in depth, I think, will really serve us well. It's just as you say, Jack, as we get towards winter time and the new year. So that's a really positive step.
Yeah, I did say, I can't remember which game it was, one of the home games, obviously. The bench was, it was interesting to look at the bench and you think you could make a case for every one of those players starting.
Exactly.
That's not something we're overly used to.
But that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Jeez, that is such a brilliant thing.
And then you've got players like Jack Wadham, just gone out on loan.
100% who you could still think would fit straight in.
Yeah.
Like, that man was one of the best players in National League South last year.
Yeah.
By far. Jeez, that's not even like a competition. No. Like, he was stunning.
Okay, obviously something went fairly different on this one. So we chatted still for another about 10 more minutes or so, where we were just finishing off with the Hartlepool match and looking ahead to Chertsey, and fairly confident. I think Rory went for a 4-2 win, Jack went for a 6-2 win, I went for a 3-0 win, but we then also discovered that Jack's mum and dad are coming over, so we'll get some good stories about Jack from them. But yes, thank you for listening to this episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast, the Sutton podcast. We are in association with Lucky Star Gin, as always. Thank you to the guests, Jack and Rory. Sorry for chopping off the last 10 minutes of your conversation. Don't forget to leave us a review, like and share this podcast at Sutton Podcast on all social medias, and give us those thumbs up on YouTube. And thanks for listening and your attention, obviously. Take care. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
United! 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 United!